Good day, everyone. Let's talk immigration. Today, I wanted to speak a little bit about the refugee system. I mean, a lot's going on in the world. A lot of bad things are happening. A lot of people are in fear of their life or security or in fear of persecution. And they want to get to Canada. They don't understand how. Now, previously, I've spoken about how you can sponsor somebody to Canada under the refugee system. But today, I want to speak more about spontaneous arrivals. Now, the refugee system is governed under Section 95, 96, 97 of the Immigration Refugee Protection Act. And Canada is a signatory to the Geneva Convention and its following protocol of 1967. Now, we have something that's called a spontaneous arrival. Now, how a spontaneous arrival works is Canada does not care how you made it to the country. Now, you could have came here under an illegal passport. You could have came here by misrepresenting yourself. A lot of people tend to get a visitor visa and then enter the country, and then upon landing and then clearing the port of entry into Canada, will then later on file an inland application for protection. Now, there are two kinds of refugees. There's the first kind of refugee who was in fear at the time they left their country. Now, that person must have ensured that they explored an internal flight alternative, meaning they went to some other part of their country to seek refuge. And because of that not working, they then decided to get onwards and displace themselves from that country and enter into Canada. Now, the second kind of refugee is the Refugee Sur Place. Now, the Refugee Sur Place means that your fear originated after you entered Canada, meaning something transpired or took place in your country of residence after you entered Canada. Now, if you find yourself in either of the two situations and you are present in Canada or you're at a port of entry in Canada, you can file your claim for refugee protection. As soon as you indicate that you have a fear of life or security of your person, the process of non-refoulement begins. And non-refoulement basically means you are at the point of no return. Now, once you're at the point of no return, what happens is that Immigration Canada will take in your intake information, get an assessment of your story, and you'll go for something called a Minister's Delegate Review. Now, what they want to know at the Minister's Delegate Review is, have you come from a safe third country? And just because you've come from a safe third country will not bar you from filing your refugee protection. You'll just go through a different process. Now, the Safe Third Country and the Safe Third Country Agreement is pretty much the United States of America. Now, the United States of America, if you've landed in the United States, basically our law says you should have claimed there. Now, there is an exception to that rule, and that is that you have some sort of family member present in Canada who will assist you in the process and will help in your economical establishment. This could be a cousin, aunt, whatever. And we call this an anchor relative. Now, the MDR is basically to just ensure that you are actually a refugee claimant and your claim is a viable claim as per the Immigration Refugee Protection Act. And what that means is that you have some sort of fear of your person and personal security, fear of life, or cruel and unusual treatment or torture. And vulnerable women are actually put into a separate category. Now, once you've completed the MDR, what will happen is that your basis of claim, BOC, also known as the BOC, that will outline all your personal information and your narrative, your story, will then be transferred to the Refugee Protection Division, where you will await a hearing. Now, during that period, all refugee claimants are entitled to a work permit, you're entitled to social services, health care, and everything, and you can live in the land pretty much free of any fear until you have your hearing and determined if whether or not you will be deemed a protected person of Canada, where then you can onwards yourself to permanent residency. So one thing that you guys must be careful about, that is your narrative. Right on the onset, you must ensure that the narrative that you're providing to the Refugee Protection Division is true, accurate, and correct, because that is the actual document that the member of the board is going to use in examining if whether or not you are deemed to be credible. And that is probably one of the main crux of the immigration and refugee protection system. It runs on an objective and subjective basis, but one thing that the member wants to establish is if whether or not your story is credible. A large portion of the refugee determination process is to protect the integrity of the system. and they want to ensure that you're not lying or you're misusing the refugee system to just acquire status of convenience. So these are the main things that you want to see. So if you are a person in need of protection, you do have a way to get to Canada. But the first thing you got to do is get yourself to a Canadian port of entry or to an inland office, and then declare the fact that you are in need of protection. Once you declare the fact that you're in need of protection, the process of non-refoulement begins, and you are at the point of no return. Nobody can return you to your country of residence. I hope that has helped you out, and if you do find yourself in that kind of situation, I always advise use representation. It's very important. Canada does give you legal aid, and you can hire your own private counsel as well. And if you have a family member or somebody like that who is also in need, maybe in the country or en route, please feel free to contact my office. And if these videos are helpful to you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I always appreciate the support. Have yourself a great day.